During quarantine, a lot of capture cards were price gouged to hell due to the issues with stock and pretty much in regards to every retail store out there, including Amazon. And that means that if you were a streamer or just need a better way of capturing your game footage, then you're either stuck with spending the ridiculous asking prices of the out-of-stock popular brands, or you can just buy this one right here. Introducing the Unzano HD Capture Card. Now, is it worth it? Let's go ahead and find out. For more great content just like this, just make sure to subscribe and then turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any uploads. Also, leave a like and a comment down below with all of your thoughts on this video. And while you're at it, I always leave affiliate links down below in the description as well. But make sure that you check out Lukrembo so you can find the best deals on all of that tech that you're shopping for. It's a simple browser extension that helps you make the best purchasing decision. And lastly, don't forget to check out my merch store if you're into some monochrome clothing like everything I'm wearing right here. So with that said, links to everything down below. As per usual, we're going to begin with an unboxing, and this is going to be very simple, so just go ahead and lift up the lid to find foam, then you'll come across the capture card, which is made of aluminum. Pretty nice. Underneath is more foam, then a cardboard cover that houses the USB 3.0 cable, a 3.5mm audio jack for capturing audio as well, and an HDMI cable. You'll also find some instructions underneath. So overall, it is a pretty decent unboxing. And the exterior design consists of metal. This capture card might not be the most appealing one in terms of looks on the market with its simplicity and complete lack of branding, but it is built incredibly well. It's pretty small too, so it's pretty easy to actually travel with if you like to travel with your capture cards. You're also going to find an HDMI in for your computer, an HDMI out port for connecting an external camera to it, which is, in my opinion, where a lot of its value comes from for me, and a 5V power connector, which you won't really be needing here. On the other side, you've actually got a USB 3.0 port line in for connecting this to your PC and letting it capture its audio that way, a microphone port, and a headphone jack, and that essentially marks everything for its exterior. So let's go ahead and talk about the setup. And the setup process is going to be pretty simple here. There's just going to be two main ways of doing so. So you've got the popular method, which is going to be through OBS, and here all that you have to do is just make sure that you set this capture card as your video capture device and adjust the frame rate and video format, and you're pretty much good to go. The instructions are going to be included in the box, so you will be able to follow these just fine, and it should work adequately. There's also the second method, which is through the Pot Player software. It's kind of like OBS, but it is just for screen recording essentially, and the process is a little bit more tedious here, but that's fine because it does at least work pretty well. However, those are going to be your two options for the most part. So to properly connect this to your PC, just go ahead and plug in the HDMI in port to your HDMI port on your PC. The line in port goes to your audio jack, and the USB 3.0 port for powering it and transmitting data goes to pretty much any USB 3.0 port and above on your PC. Then you're pretty much good to roll from here. So let's go ahead and talk about performance. And yeah, so in terms of performance, I was actually surprised with it. It captured my Dragon Ball FighterZ match just fine at 1080p at 60 frames per second, which is where it maxes out, and you don't get the same detailed image that I saw on my screen, for example. However, but the visuals on this are consistent all throughout. No screen tearing or performance issues. Even if the image isn't quite as detailed, it still looks pretty darn good in my opinion for what it is. And not to mention that as a streaming device, it's pretty great too. I remember that you can use this to plug in an external camera, hence that HDMI out port that I talked about earlier. And a very good example of a great camera to use with this capture card would be my Sony RX100 Mark III, and it should be able to work just fine, and you'll be able to use it properly, which is really awesome. And I think that that's a pretty big reason as to why a lot of streamers opt in for capture cards in the first place. It's for that particular feature, so I'm so happy that it has it. However, just like everything in life, you will find some things to nitpick at here. This capture card does get very hot to the touch, even if it doesn't seem to affect performance from my experience, but do keep that in mind. Use it in a well ventilated space for better cooling. You do still lose details with this card, and there is a bit of delay as well when you look at it side by side from what you're seeing in game to what it's actually capturing. but it's nothing that affected performance here too much or the look of it too much. It was just worth noting, and I think that you should know that. It was pretty minimal from my experience, but overall, I am honestly pretty happy with this capture card. So, in conclusion, this is a very good alternative, in my opinion, to the overpriced capture cards right now. It's priced at around $100, which is pretty decent and performs pretty well from my experience. I don't have any complaints in regards to its results because they were just fine and totally usable from my experience. If you live in a very hot place, I probably would not recommend it because it does get very hot, and they even recommend in the instructions themselves that you use it in a properly cool place. Otherwise, if this is your budget, then this is a very good alternative, and it gets a very solid recommendation from me. So with that said, highly recommended. And if you're interested in purchasing this capture card, then I'll be making sure to leave affiliate links down to Amazon down in the description. And then if you end up using any of my links, I do get a small commission that does help me run things just a little bit more smoothly around here. So if you were to use that, I would appreciate that quite a bit. And if you were looking for any kind of gaming peripherals also to go along with your capture card or your streaming or your gaming setup, and go ahead and check out Luster. I talked about this in the ad roll just a little bit earlier in this video. However, Luster is a very great alternative for searching online and when it comes to shopping. It's going to recommend you different products based on what category you're shopping for, and when it comes to gaming peripherals, this one in particular is going to be incredibly helpful. It's a very simple and free to use browser extension that can only help you in the long run. So I would strongly recommend that you were to use it. Links to that down below. And not to mention that if you wanted to catch me on my live streams, and if you liked my voice or the very calm demeanor of these videos, then you can pretty much expect that in a very ASMR style Final Fantasy XIV streams moving forward. So if that is something that you're interested in, links to my Twitch down in the description. I like to stream during the weekends, and I would love to have you down there to answer any and all of your questions. I love chatting with you guys, so do go ahead and stop by. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you would like to stay up to date with the latest and greatest in regards to the Tech Summit endeavors. But with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you all later. Enjoy!